Hi, I'm Jack, and this is my experience learning to creatively code. So, just to refresher on what is creative coding, a lot of people consider coding as something that is done for business, or something that you might do in statistics or in finance, or even like a hacker, something like that. But really, coding is just a tool, and creative coding is just trying to unlock a different, more artistic side of that tool. Um, and I learned this through the code base or the coding system processing. Now, this is a great system for learning how to creatively code. It enables you to really create a vast 2D space, and then fill that world however you like, however your creative vision draws you there. And I just want to bring you guys through the creative process, how I got from my smallest idea all the way to a vast, 3D interactive world. So I started with my idea was to create synesthesia. And if you know synesthesia, it's that sensation of, um, or it's feeling a sensation from another sense in a different sense, transmuted into a sense that is not like if the sense of maybe you can hear the taste of bacon by the way it's crackling, or a smell of like ocean wind reminds you of the beach, and you can almost see the beach. It's this kind of crossing over of senses. So I wanted to create that feeling of having that being the perfect temperature. My original idea, I had my feet in the sand, um, down at a sands beach. I had my toes right in the sand, and they were under a little bit of water, and it was a hot day, and my body was hot, and my toes were cool, and I felt completely balanced, and I was completely comfortable, and it was a great feeling. And what I wanted to do was try to recreate that same feeling, but in a visual sense, and create a world where the goal is to reach that perfect harmony in the middle of two extremes, cold and hot. So so what I did to do that is I I created a vast explorable space where the individual is free to explore my perception of temperature through color and movement. Now, first off, I wanted to create a large space so you could really explore it. It'd be vast. It would seem like you're encompassed by it. So this is what I did here in this code. Uh, Here I'm really just writing. I'm creating the grid that is it's 8 screen lengths wide. So there's a lot of, if you imagine, there's a lot of room to move around in this space. Um, now, in terms of the colors that you see here, um, it's it's also that was also a decision. I'm gonna open up this system. I'm going to start running the program, and you'll get a sense of the world I've created. The colors were very specific in my choosing. I believe that purple is a very peaceful color for, in my opinion, and it evokes a lot of those same feelings that I was having of balance, and of of that kind of like satisfaction of being in balance. Now, you start to venture up to higher up into this world, and you'll see that it changes significantly into this darker, deeper blue color. And here is where I'm trying to create some movement in the system. It's not just a flat, stationary uh, world. Just as the feeling of cold isn't just feeling it on your body. It's loud, it's moving, it's a lot of times, especially at the beach, when I'm cold because of the wind. So here is I'm creating, I have I have moving elements that drag across the screen, and they will some are white, and they'll create that little dusty wind effect, and some are actually blue, and they'll come by and they'll erase it. They'll color over that white and blue. Now, the systems just started running, but if this were to run for 10, 15 minutes, um, you'd see that the entire top part of this screen would be a speckle of white and blue, and it'd be constantly changing and moving around. Um, and this is how I tried to create that wind effect. Now, we go down here, and as you go back down through the purple, you reach the bottom level, which is I used to represent heat. Um, Now, you see here, this is a transitioning tile, and then back down to the bottom, you're at a very hot yellow. Um, and for here, for this movement, I used Chladni patterns, which are actually patterns of sand that, based on certain sound waves, the sand will vibrate and it will create these strange and I think very beautiful patterns. And I had these patterns at a transposed onto the yellow, and if you'll see over time, they'll change and they'll rotate slightly. This is again to create a moving element. Now, I wanted the color to be much more aggressive and physical than the hot. I more imagined that feeling of heat to be when you press your fingers on your eyes and you stare up at the sun, and it's almost like you can barely see and you're disoriented, and it's just these bright colors of yellow and red. And so that's what I was trying to create here, um, with these patterns. Now, overall, the goal is in this system to create that same feeling of seeking balance that I found on the beach that one day. Now, the idea is that in either space, um, it become uncomfortable. You want to explore the space, right? You, just as at the beach, you hop in the water, you tan. There's certain extremes, right? But at a certain point, it's these with all the movement of these colors, it becomes too disorienting. It becomes too much, and it's no longer enjoyable. It's actually uncomfortable. So eventually, that's what I'm trying to do. In the same way, with the wind, eventually I wanted to create it so it's too much. It's too much movement. It's disorienting, and then in either extreme, it's not comfortable. You won't find comfortability, and until you venture right back down to that middle spot again, and there's no movement at all. It's completely stationary, and that's where the balance is found. Um, so this is my world. I actually named it Break because I found it, like, I thought it was like a break between both, and this is like that thin line of, you know harmony between two extremes. Um, Now, and this is what I created with processing. So that's my project. That's my final that's my the final outcome. I hope to do more with this idea in the future. I really enjoyed exploring this idea of synesthesia and the balance between hot and cold. Um, so I hope to do more with this in the future and continue to creatively code. I suggest that all of you give it a shot. I know coding can be sometimes an arduous task, and I was frustrated many times during the process. But it really is a tool. In the same way an artist has a paintbrush, uh, this coding can be your paintbrush. Um, but in that way, it's a very versatile paintbrush. You can really explore all different types of creativity and all different types of ideas through coding, and there's tons of ways to learn. I learned just really through a lot of this through YouTube, just bit by bit, solving problems, going back and forth, and I was really satisfied with the result. Um, and that's my project. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'd uh, drop a comment, and I would love to discuss creative coding with you.